rejoice and be glad, for I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. So as you come in, you're going to notice I turned the chat off. The reason I turned the chat off is because a lot of the Trumpers and the MAGAs, they have been coming in my live and have been saying some very racist and defiled things to me. And in the live chat last night, early this morning, when I came on at 12 something this morning, I had a Trumper to call me a Nigger. And so I turned my comments off because what I am getting ready to discuss with you don't need no commentary, don't need no comments, don't need your approval, don't need your attitude. So what I'm getting ready to discuss with you, it does not need any of that right there. When you look at a video and the comments are turned off, it's because God has already spoken and your opinion does not matter. So when you see a video, a prophetic video, whatever, and I turn my comments off, it's because what you say don't matter at that point. And so I turned my comments off for this live, but I want to say this. Um, what we are getting ready to see is history made. And what I would like to tell everyone, act accordingly. I'm saying that to those that are voting blue, act accordingly. Those that are, unfortunately, I got to tell those that are that are voting red to act accordingly. But I know that's going to be hard for some of you to do. But what I would say is this: is that please act accordingly, because we are dealing with a different breed of people. We are dealing with some people that feel that racism is okay now to display. Once upon a time, people hid their racism. They're not hiding it no more. They are making it very well known that they are racist and that they don't care nothing about you or other people. Personally, I think that is a ignorant. I think that's ignorance. The reason why, because people hate you based upon the color of your skin, as if you told God what race you wanted to be born. That's psychotic and that's sick. That somebody hates you over something that you had no control over. That's ignorance. So when you think of Nigger, like I was called early this morning by a racist, you're mad at me about a race that I did not choose. And to be honest, if I could have chosen my race, I would have still chose this race. Oh wow, isn't that a mic drop? Yeah, I said it. So I wanted to say this: this election is making history already. I don't know if you've been watching the polls for the early voting. In most states, in most states the voting is pretty much done. And that was the purpose of early voting. That's why I went out and I voted early. That's why I made sure that I went out there. I know you think your voice don't matter, but it does. It does matter. And I just want to say this election is getting ready to make history. But in us preparing for this election to make history, I want to also say be still vigilant. If you have not voted, get your butt out there on Tuesday and vote. I heard someone say today that when you go in there to vote, don't go in there voting with yourself in mind. When you go in there and vote, go in there and vote with your daughter in mind, your sister in mind, your mother in mind. Back here a few days ago, a young teenager in Texas was pregnant, and she got an infection. And because of the crooked Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, she went to 3 hospitals and they all refused to touch her. When you go to the ballot and you go cast your vote on Tuesday, you are voting for someone like that young lady. It don't matter what her race was. It don't matter how old. It don't even matter whether or not she was married. When you go to the ballot and when you go cast your vote, you are voting on behalf of that young lady who lost her life over something that could have been prevented. But because of Donald J. Trump in the Supreme Court, she lost her life. Get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. Make your voice heard no matter where you are. Share this video. If you have not already voted, get out there and vote. Go and vote. Go online if you have not registered. Go and register to vote. And when you get to the, you may not have your voter registration card yet, but when you get to the poll, just give them your ID and they'll be able to scan it to see that you're registered to vote. Get out there and vote. Make your voice heard. And don't just vote for you. I want you to imagine the young teenager that just lost her life a few days ago. Imagine if that was your daughter. Imagine if that was your sister. Imagine that. You're gonna want, and imagine that was your granddaughter, your niece, or your cousin. You're gonna want the medical field to do everything they can to save her, and that is why your voice is so important. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. And I would tell you this: voting means more than what you think it does. I know that we as blacks and as African Americans, we were told that our voice and our votes did not matter. If our vote and our voice did not matter, why in all the black areas where Biden and Harris won, why would in all those black areas in Michigan, Georgia, why in those areas where it was predominantly black, why were those the areas where they said that it was voter fraud? Because we are not the minority, we are the majority. We are the majority. And that, keep in mind, if you want to talk about why they overturned Roe v. Wade, is because we were no longer the minority. We are the majority. That's why they overturned Roe v. Wade. It was not because they had women's best interests in heart. That's not why they did that. They did it because they had a meeting, and when it comes to the House or whatever meetings they have, you get to see it. That's why you got to hear when Crockett called Marjorie Taylor Greene a butch built box blonde woman, whatever she said. She's and it's all advertised. So I remember when one of the Republicans said that if we don't do something, we are. And matter of fact, Donald Trump agreed to overturn Roe v. Wade if they would choose him as a candidate. That's how Donald Trump got chosen as a candidate, because he promised them that he would overturn Roe v. Wade in return of their nomination. Do your own research. And so the Republicans said, if we don't do something, we are going to be the minority instead of the majority. So they decided to overturn Roe v. Wade. Not because they cared about your life, not because they cared about that unborn child. That was not why they did that. And I know you want to believe, oh, they pro-life. No, they're not. They're every man for themselves. Oh, they care about that unborn child. No, they don't. If they cared about an unborn child, why would they overturn Roe v. Wade? If they cared about an unborn child, why would they fix it to where it's though the doctors in the hospital cannot touch a woman whose pregnancy is in jeopardy, a woman that's in jeopardy of losing her life? If they were so pro-life, then why are all these young women, black, white, it does not matter, why are they dying? No, it had nothing to do with them caring about that unborn child. Nothing. What they want to do is make sure they are the majority. And we, the Hispanics, we, the African Americans, are the minority. But let me tell you this. They act like they are pro-life. Well, statistics show that it was more Caucasian women that were actually deciding that they didn't want to be parents than it was of any ethnic group. The same government that Donald Trump over and over and over again told the Republicans to let shut down, statistics show. That's why when people come in my live and talk about EBT and welfare and stuff like that, you wish. But statistics show that Caucasians are on welfare more than we are. Make your voice heard. You may not think that it matters, but it matters more than you think. If your voice did not matter, why are they already saying that the election was stolen? It was, wait a minute, how was it stolen? It ain't even done yet. No, you lost. You are defeated, and the polls are showing that Harris is leading Donald Trump nationally. But that lined up. We saw that today. That lined up with what God said. And for Carrie Ann and all those lying false prophets, anybody that still listens to Carrie Ann and all these other false prophets, just get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Getting out and voting is not just for you. It's for every female that you love. This is for the men. This is for your daughter. I ain't got no kids. This is for the child, the daughter you may have in the future. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. I'm not just voting as, and I'll tell anybody, I've always told people I'm not a Democrat and I am not a Republican. I'm going to go for whoever's going to get in there and do what they are supposed to do. Don't get in there making us promises that you cannot fulfill. Get out and vote. If you know somebody who knows somebody and knows somebody, give them a ride to the polls. Give them a ride to the polls. Get out and vote. In the words of Donald Trump, this may be the last election that you ever will have to vote in. His own words. His own words. Get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Keep in mind, a lot of people, how can you if you really think of it, a lot of people that say they're pro-life, they're not pro-life. For it to be okay for women to be pregnant and lose their lives the same way they did in the 1950s, the 1940s, the 1930s, the 1800s or whatever, for them to still be that, you're not pro-life. If you feel like it's okay for these young women to be losing their lives because they're being forced to carry a fetus that has already met its end, you're not pro-life. How can you vote for Harris and all that? You're not pro-life. Pro-life means that I get to make a decision and what I feel is best, not only for this unborn child, but myself. And a lot of people, it concerns me how you feel like you want to tell somebody what to do with their body. You force a woman to carry a baby that she does not want to carry. You're forcing her. God did not even take Mary's free will away. God sent the angel to tell Mary that she was going to conceive a child. God didn't say, oh, you better have Jesus. No. Being a parent, being a mother is an honor. Being a father is an honor. And it should not be taken lightly nor forced upon someone who's not ready for that. Who's not ready for that. And so forcing someone to do that, and then you got the audacity to fix your raggedy mouth and say, God, why did you let that happen to that baby? God, why did you allow this to happen to that child? When they were showing signs that they were not ready to be a mother or a father. I wanted my children. I prayed to conceive my children because at one point I thought I couldn't have kids. At one point I thought I couldn't have kids. Being a mother and a father is an honor and it's a privilege that should never be entered into lightly. Just because you get in a relationship all willy-nilly, don't mean you should enter into parenthood all willy-nilly. So when you say you pro-choice, you're saying that whatever is best for that unborn child and that mother is what I agree with. You can't be pro-choice and not feel some type of way when a mother is pregnant and she finds out that that baby has deceased in her womb. Is it okay for her to continue to carry that deceased fetus? And her body gets septic, her body becomes toxic? Because what happens when her body becomes septic and her body becomes toxic? It shuts her organs down. So is it okay for her to walk around with that deceased fetus in her uterus? Because guess what? Now, because of Roe v. Wade being overturned, not only is the fetus gone, but because of them overturning Roe v. Wade and adding the DNC and everything else to it, now, not only is there a deceased fetus, but there's about to be a deceased mother. So you're pro-life and you wanting to ban this and ban that, you didn't save that fetus. Not only did you not save that fetus, but you also took the life of that mother. I guess it don't matter unless that thing hits close to home. I guess it don't matter until it's one of your loved ones that now needs that procedure. I guess it does not matter as long as it's not your mother, it's not your sister, it's not your niece, it's not your granddaughter, it's not your cousin, it's not your friend, it's not your wife. I guess it does not matter as long as it does not touch your home. But I tell you this, if something ain't done about the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and something ain't done about the Supreme Court, and something is not done, it's only a matter of time before it does hit your home. Imagine you as a mother, you just found out that your daughter that's been married or whatever, and she finally conceived the child. She finally conceived the child. You're finally going to be a grandmother. But something goes a little wrong. And in order to save your daughter or your daughter-in-law, or either in order to save that grandbaby that you're finally going to have, because what you don't realize is if a procedure is not done, you could lose your daughter and that grandbaby, or you could lose that grandbaby, and your daughter might face or your daughter-in-law or granddaughter may face the risk of never being able to conceive no more because of her body being septic, because of this happening, because of the fact that she was not able to receive the proper medical care. So imagine if that was your daughter. Imagine that and this is the stuff you keep in mind when you go to the ballot. Imagine if that was your daughter that just found out she was pregnant finally after her and her husband trying. But now something's wrong. And now You're telling the doctor to do everything they could, everything they can to save your daughter, your daughter-in-law, your niece, whatever, your granddaughter, and that baby. But now the doctors are saying my hands are tied because of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We can't do nothing. So now you're going to lose that grandbaby, and you could possibly lose your daughter, your granddaughter, your wife, your daughter-in-law. It's not the fact that they are banning a woman. It's not the fact that they are telling a woman what to do with her body. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. This was a power trip. It was a power trip. We are going to be the minority. We're going to be the minority if we don't do something about this. This had nothing to do with those unborn babies. It had nothing to do with those unborn babies. This was a power trip. And if you listen to the words that come out of Donald Trump's mouth, and if you listen to the word that comes out of these MAGA cults' mouth, when you get white supremacists, Nazis, to endorse Kamala Harris, what does that tell you? Or have y'all not been paying attention to the news? You are getting white supremacists, Nazis, and KKK. Look at the news that are endorsing Kamala Harris. What does that tell you? It tells you this is bigger and deeper than what you think it is. You think that they don't know Donald Trump gonna lose this election? Why do you think that they have already started putting up barricades and everything they need for the Capitol? Why do you think they already started putting up barricades and everything they need around the VP house? Why? Because they know. He wants y'all to think that all these people are supporting him and they agree. What did he say? Everybody wanted me to overturn Roe v. Wade, Democrats and Republicans. That's a lie. Call me the father IVF. How are you the father IVF when you got states deciding to ban it? So again, here's again. Whether you believe it or not, your wife, your daughter, your granddaughter, their reproductive rights are on that ballot. By you selecting who the next president of the United States is going to be. It's on that ballot. And you got to choose wisely. You got to choose very wisely and careful. You may not, I don't agree with about 75% of the things that the Democrats do. But I know one thing. I'd rather deal with the Democrats than the Republicans. Meaning, they're not even the Republican Party no more. They're the MAGA. Have you even noticed that Donald Trump don't identify as a Republican? He always say MAGA, which means it's not the Democratic Party. It's not the liberals. It's not the Republicans. It's not just the Democrats. It's not just the liberals. It's not just the Republicans, but it's also MAGA. So it's MAGA, the liberals, the Democrats, and the Republican Party. This election, keep in mind, when you men, because a lot of you men, you're not going to vote. Share this video. A lot of you men, you going to vote for Trump, and he's still going to lose, but you men going to vote for Trump, not realizing that Trump could care less about you, your daughter, your sister, your wife, and your mother. He could care less. A lot of men are going to vote for Trump, not because a lot of men are not going. Some men are going to choose not to vote because they don't want to vote for Trump, but they don't want to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. But I want you to, for those of you that are saved, I want you to look at how many times God sent a woman to rescue the people. If you believe it or not, because God sent Jesus through the womb of Mary, God sent Mary to help deliver the people. When you go back into the Old Testament and you look at Esther, God sent Esther to deliver the people. When you look at Deborah, God sent Deborah to help calm the things down that was going on with the children of Israel, to deliver the children of Israel. Even when you look at Hannah, and God gave her Samuel, because she went to God and she seeked God for that male child, she was able to be a blessing to the kingdom. I know Harris is not everything that we need her to be, but she's nothing like what we had with Donald Trump. And I, and my womb, and my children, and we cannot live through another administration with him. For this man to threaten Liz Cheney because she's a Republican that disagreed with him, for him to say that basically a firing squad needs to deal with her, all I'm going to say to y'all is this: get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Your vote and your voice matters. It does. Me being a woman, if I decided that, oh, you know what? Well, let God's will be done. Just get out and vote, everybody. Get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Get out and vote. This is the biggest, this election is bigger than 2020. The 2020 election is what calls us to wake up to realize how important voting is. Because we got to be honest, not a lot of us didn't take voting serious. But after what we went through with the 4 years of the Trump administration, we knew we had to get out and vote. And we did. And we conquered. Get out, vote, so that we don't have to worry about what's going to happen with my daughter, what's going to happen with my niece or my granddaughter, what's going to happen with me. Because truth be told, I still can have children. I still can bear children. So what happens? What happens? Get out and vote. Make your voice heard. That's really all I can tell you. I don't want this channel to be focused on politics, but we must understand that we must understand the power of our prayers. When the Bible talks about principalities and wickedness in high places, the word was talking about government. Get out and vote, make your voice heard. And just get out and vote. Love y'all so much. Until we meet again, everybody, please continue to sow into the ministry. You can do that through Cash App, $, Boyd. Please continue to just share the videos, give this video a thumbs up. Get out and vote on Tuesday. Make your voice heard. Let everybody know that you really are pro-choice and pro-life. So I choose to do what I want to do with my body so that I might live as well. So get out and vote. I love you all so much. Until we meet again, remember that God loves you. I love you, but God loves you more because I don't even know you, but I'm still praying for you. Until we meet again, everybody, be blessed. Bye.